Hi, Gene Burnett from GeneBurnett.com. I'm just sitting here at my little home office here, and I was just taking some notes, and I just thought I would share them in the form of a video. I was thinking about the ways in which different physical activities that I do all kind of connect with each other and cross-pollinate each other and help each other. I think primarily because of the basic Tai Chi mindset that Tai Chi has helped me learn many other things, just the things that I learn in the basic training, and because my training is pretty open-ended in what I consider Tai Chi, those other things have helped my Tai Chi as well. And so I started to think about some of the things that I've done and how they affected my Tai Chi and how my Tai Chi affected them. For instance, looking at my notes here, something that I decided to do about 3 or 4 years ago is to develop more upper body strength, just more body strength in general, increase my muscle mass, and just get more stronger and just more physically fit. I started eating a little better. I started doing a regular uphill bike ride whenever I can after I teach in the park. I started doing more body weight exercises. I have to be careful with my joints because they're prone to soft tissue injury in the joints. I've always had that propensity or a weakness. So I learned over time, after making mistakes and trial and error, I learned to go slowly and to not strain too much. That was one of the things actually where my Tai Chi helped that. Even though I did strain too much initially, I was still on the safe side. It just wasn't safe enough. So now when I do push-ups, I do them in here. I also do them out here, but and equal amounts here and here. And I do them slowly, and I do them with breathing, and I do sets of 10 or 15. I don't go past that because I know I'm going to hurt my joints. So, but I do at least 50 a day, sometimes more. And I should add, I'm 62 years old. I'm not a kid. So here are some ways that my Tai Chi training helped my sort of fitness and strength training addition. First of all, form first, bone level alignment first, ahead of everything, ahead of ego, ahead of numbers, ahead of speed, ahead of power, ahead of everything. Form first, structure first. So I tried doing pull-ups and I realized, oh, I was straining too much. I had a little success and I'd go for bigger numbers, and those numbers that hurt me a little bit. So my joint, elbow in particular, got hurt. So I said, oh shit, I really should stay with that Tai Chi principle of form first and avoid strain and pushing too hard. Relax, feel the flow of the movement, and when the tension starts to come, feel a little bit of that, because you need to go into that a little bit, but don't overdo it. So I backed off. I would just hang from a bar for 10, 20, 30 seconds, just hang with my head up, not like down like this. And then after a while I started to do small pull-ups like this, just small ones. I just pull myself up and down. And I did 10 of those every time I walked under this bar that I have outside my front door. And then gradually I started doing 20, and then one day I thought, okay, I think I can try a pull-up again. And I did a full, complete pull-up from all the way down to all the way up and all the way down, connected with breath. And exhaling on the exertion and inhaling on the release. And now I'm up to sets of 6. I took my time. I gradually increased it. I have the strength to do more. If I had a gun to my head and I had skipped yesterday, I could probably do 8 or 9 if I really went for it. But I would probably strain my joints. So right now I've got a little teeny bit of tendonitis in my elbow. Not much, just a little teeny bit, and I'm just hanging at sets of 6. Sometimes I do 5 or 4 or 3 sets of 6, but my minimum target is 2 sets of 6 a day. Most people over 60 can't even do 1. So I'm not feeling too bad about being able to do 6. And I'm going to wait, and when my elbow feels great and that 6 feels good with no strain, then I'm going to 7, and I'll start doing sets of 7 regularly. And if I feel the strain, if that's too much, I'll go back. Tai Chi taught me that, to not force my mind's goals on my body, to listen to what my body can actually do and is able to do, which is fantastic as you get older. Because so many older people that I've known who got injured were doing something that they used to be able to do, and they think, well, I could do this 20 years ago, so now I still can, and guess what, you can't. Paying attention to the path of momentum and getting out of its way, that's been really helpful. That's a Tai Chi principle. You kind of grease the path. The reason you train so slowly, I don't even think of Tai Chi as a set of martial techniques anymore. Most of the techniques of Tai Chi are not as good as just a punch in the face. But the techniques teach you to slow down. I think of Tai Chi as a training method more than like a bunch of techniques. It's a training method. It's a way of learning to track the path of momentum through your body and get out of its way. And when force comes in, it's learning to distribute that through your body into the ground. So, yeah, paying attention to the path of momentum. So when I'm doing like a push-up, for instance, or when I'm doing a pull-up, or when I'm working with light weights, or even when I'm biking, I'm paying attention to the flow of my whole body within the movement, rather than just focusing on where the work is. There's a tendency in weight work to isolate the movement so that the muscle that you're working gets the maximum amount of work. I get that, but for me, being a Tai Chi person, I don't like the feeling of isolation. I don't like the feeling of just one part of my body working. So for instance, with doing curls, just a simple example, I'm going to stand up and hopefully you can still see me, but if I'm doing curls like this, like if I'm alternating curls, I will turn my body as I come up. I'm not twisting my knees down there. I'm careful to do that, but I will turn, or I will lift with my legs a little bit as I do the movement, so that by the time my bicep contracts, it's already there's already momentum helping it, and it becomes a whole-bodied movement where everything is coordinating to help me do that movement. And yes, it is less isolated on the bicep. So guess what? If I want to work my biceps, I just do more reps, rather than a smaller number of reps with extreme isolation, where just this muscle is moving and nothing else, clean out of zero, nowhere. This way it moves with my whole body. Most of my movements initiate in my legs anyway, so I don't want to train my body to over-isolate. Another thing that's been really helpful in my strength training that I learned from Tai Chi was to alternate a focus between structure and flow. So when I feel like I have good structure, I start to just feel into the whole body flow of the movement, the whole body flow of the exercise, and not just on grinding out the numbers. I focus actually on the pleasure of it and on the sensation of it, the feeling of my whole body doing the exercise. And when I notice, like, if I've been focusing on flow a lot, I'll alternate that with going back to structure and just focusing on, am I doing everything correctly? Is the structure there? When the structure feels good and my form is good, I go back to feeling more of the holistic, whole-bodied flow. Going back and forth, letting my mind's ability to integrate movements into the whole of myself alternate between my mind's ability to focus in and zero in and correct things that might be out. Also connecting movements with breathing. My Tai Chi training has embedded that in me very deeply, to kind of exhale as I exert. And I know there are alternatives. I know for instance, in Sistema, they will alternate between inhaling on the exertion, exhaling on the exertion, holding your breath while you do it, all that kind of stuff. I'm not putting that down. It's just not for me. I really like exhaling on the exertion. So like when you go to push a car or something, it's natural that nobody goes up to a car and, it doesn't, when you exhale, your deep abdominals contract. And I can see the value in learning to keep your body guessing and do other ways. But I really like the connecting movements to breathing in that particular way. But the overall general idea of not holding your breath or compressing your breath or ignoring your breath while exercising is something I got from my Tai Chi training, and that I use regularly when I do body weight exercises and strength building exercises. Even when I do biking, I will breathe regularly. So those are some of the ways that my Tai Chi training helped me to increase my muscle mass and strength. So how did building strength and more muscle mass, particularly up above, but everywhere really, how did that affect my Tai Chi? Well, you have to engage your core a lot more, like when you're doing planks and push-ups and pull-ups and things like that. So it helped me engage my core more in my Tai Chi, both in partner work and in solo work. It brought a little extra attention to long spine and kind of engaged shoulders. I call them glued shoulders. They kind of glue to your back a little bit and be a little firmer back there. Not so much the front of the shoulder joint, but in the back. Bringing extra attention to that, which I needed to do in strength training, helped my Tai Chi in general, especially the more attention to upright spine, because you definitely don't want to be slouchy when you have weight. And when you're doing Tai Chi, it's just the weight of your own body, so sometimes it's hard to feel that as much as when you add real weight to it. Better, firmer structure, stability, and connectedness. All of those things were increased from doing strength training. You have to pay attention to your structure and your stability and your sense of connectedness, both to the weights you're using or to the ground or to your body. So just doing that helped my Tai Chi. So in my Tai Chi form, I feel more firmer structure, I feel more stable, and I feel stronger and more connected. Building strength and muscle mass really gave me a friendlier relationship with work and pressure, because I have to put my body under pressure and I have to work when I do that in ways that are more intense and more focused than in the Tai Chi training. So doing it with the strength and muscle mass focused helped me get a friendlier relationship with work, where I feel like, yeah, work is good, I want to lean into that, which helped me in my Tai Chi to embrace the work that's there in a more friendly way. My stamina increased. I can do everything longer and better, just from being overall stronger. This is an interesting one. I need to use less of my overall strength in order to get any result. So, for instance, if I'm going to push something or someone, I can use my Tai Chi alignment and sequencing of muscle contraction to move that, and I can feel the holistic flow through my body as I move things. But it takes a certain percentage of my overall strength and vitality to move a given person or object. As my strength increased, any given job takes a smaller percentage of that strength. So more of my strength is in reserve, and is there for me to use. I'm not approaching my upper limit as much as I used to when I was less strong. So that's been really nice, which means I can be more relaxed and more casual. I'm not approaching the, oh no, I can't do this level. And then lastly, building strength and muscle mass helped me lose a little bit of weight. You might see on some of my videos pre-2013 or 14 or so, there was a little more weight down here. And so because I lost a little bit of weight, particularly around the middle, I feel more agile and more free in my waist. I feel like my waist is more free and able to move more freely. So that's nice. It works in concert with the long spine and not having the weight around the middle. I love not having the weight around the middle. Even though, like when I bring a punch or when I do a push or when I'm being pushed, I don't have that weight to rely on to increase my momentum and to make me feel solid and to just drop that weight and make it harder for someone to push me. I will take the agility and mobility over just being more thick and solid. I like being mobile more than I like being thick and solid. So the strength training helped me be more solid, but the losing the weight made me lighter. So I'll take that trade-off. So another question that came to my mind was, how has my Tai Chi training helped me to take up the more street fighting focused art of Jesse Glover's Non-Classical Gung-Fu? I've been studying that for about 3 years now. We were lucky enough to have one of Jesse's original students here in Ashland for a little while, and a group of us started to go up and practice with him regularly. Myself and two of my students and one of Todd's friends and employees we started working out with him regularly, and then last fall he had to move to Seattle for work, and so we lost our teacher, but the three of us, especially me and my two students, and the other guy occasionally, we get together like 3 times a week, and we throw punches into pads, usually about 1,000 of the straight chain type punches, and 25 or 50 each, left and right-handed, off the front foot, off the rear foot, and a step-through punch, and then we do a kind of sticking based on Chi Sao. And admittedly, we are just studying the basics of this art. We're not we're not going to the high levels of this. We're just doing the basics of it, but the basics are so great and so healthy, so much better for me than punching air. To punch the pads and has that resistance and a target practice, and we do moving pad drills as well, so you're hitting a moving target, and great for the upper body, great for stamina, all that kind of stuff. But how did Tai Chi help me adapt that? I was 59 years old. Well, again, it's very similar. Form first, bone alignment first. So as I went into it, as we started adding a lot more pressure, if you've only punched air, when you punch a pad, it's like something punched you, and that pressure has to go down and throughout your whole body. So attending to form first, which is something I learned through Tai Chi, was very helpful in that. So I didn't just go with emotion, I went with form first. And again, avoid straining, avoid pushing too hard, relax a little bit, flow more, force less, learn to go smoothly through the movements and not tense up. We had some beginners come through and they would often tense up as they went to punch and hold on to the punch. Tai Chi had helped me to relax and move through things, but not too far that I would overextend, so that's where the form comes in. So good form and alignment, avoid strain and pushing too hard, paying attention to the path of momentum, feeling the path of momentum go through the body and getting out of its way, rather than, again, contracting too much. That alternate focus on form and flow, which is something that I mentioned about doing the strength training. That's another thing from Tai Chi that really helped me in non-classical Gung-Fu, was to really focus on mechanics of the punch, like when do you rotate, when do you shift your weight, where's the point where you really put that content into it. All that stuff is great, and then also to alternate that with just working on flow and feeling the feeling of it. Just go with feeling and just not overanalyze too much, and just do it from the heart, in a sense. And then when you kind of reach a level of like, I'm not really improving anymore, go back to form and function again and pick it apart, and then go back to flow. So that structure, flow, alternate focus really helped with the non-classical Gung-Fu. And again, connecting movements to breathing. It's a little bit less of a slow motion flow as the training method of Tai Chi would be, but there is a connection to the breath. Our teacher Todd would say, exhale and throw the punch, so that was a lot easier because I was used to that. And again, using my whole body rather than over isolation, learning to work the whole pathway through the body, and just my familiarity with targets and with how the momentum goes through my body, that really, really helped me adapt to the non-classical Gung-Fu, which is very similar to Tai Chi, but very different in expression, very different in terms of the stress on the body. My familiarity with footwork and knowing where my feet is, knowing where my weight is, that really, really helped me adapt to the footwork of non-classical Gung-Fu as well. So, how did that training with the punching and the pads and the speed and the stamina and that kind of focus, how did that come back and affect my Tai Chi? Well, again, more core engagement. It helped me engage my core more, because when you hit something with a soft core, man, that's no good. You have to be firm in the core and firm in your whole structure. So it really helped me engage my core more in my Tai Chi to have done it under more pressure. again, extra attention to the long spine and low shoulders, because you want a vertical axis. Even if it's tilted forward a little bit, you don't want to be kind of scrunched up, especially if you're just in the temple hitting those pads. In a real fight, you do whatever you have to do, but it helped me bring extra attention to long spine and the glued shoulders. It helped my structure and connectedness, because when I hit things, that pressure goes back into the ground, and it helped me feel more firm and more structure and more connectedness. And again, that friendlier relationship with work and pressure, bring that back to my Tai Chi, and I just feel like I lean into the work of all things more from having done the non-classical Gung-Fu. Also increased my stamina, and again, a smaller percentage of my strength to get things done. Being leaner and having more waist rotation, that helps my Tai Chi. I probably burn more calories from the punching, so that helps me feel lighter and more agile and more easy to rotate the waist. And also just seeing the possibility of taking the Tai Chi principles and focusing them down a very narrow pathway to, sort of more explosive striking at any time. So at any time in the form, one of the things we've done is we've combined some of the Tai Chi drills, like pushing hands, with exploding into striking. So for instance, we have an agreement, like I'll be pushing hands with one of my students, and one of us at random intervals will just shove the other person off a little bit and just assume a guard position of some kind, and the other person, as soon as they feel a gap, closes that gap and goes in with, like, basically chain punching, like just going right for that target. And the other person is set up in such a way that those punches kind of graze by them rather than just pop them in the face. We're trying to be safe, but it's just a slight off angle. We're not training to punch into air. We're training to aim for their face, but just a little bit off, so that you can feel that graze on their hand, so it doesn't hurt you. So being able to drop the sort of mannered, artful movements of a Tai Chi form that you never ever see in a real fight, and just to be able to just go from, something elegant to something straightforward and practical, has been a real nice way that the non-classical speaks to the Tai Chi. So one last thing that I've taken up, if you can believe I've taken up more things, is Argentine Tango. My wife has been a tango teacher for many years. She recently took a break and got a master's degree in somatic education, and she's coming back to tango with a different focus. And I resisted tango for a long time. I don't know. I didn't like, from the outside, I wasn't crazy about the music. It just didn't feel right. And the actual dance, it just didn't feel right. Now I'm talking about social dance tango. I'm not talking about Dancing with the Stars, Rose in Your Teeth, and all that kind of fancy stuff. Just the actual connected social dance. Tango is a improvisational social dance. So you're in an embrace with somebody, and you don't know what's coming, especially the follow. The follower doesn't know what's coming. So the lead has to signal in advance, subtly, what the lead is about to do, so that the follower can make a preparatory move. In other words, if I'm going to step with my left foot, I need to have my weight on my right foot, and my partner needs to know that our weight is over here. And then I will lean forward slightly. She takes her right foot back so my left foot can step into that space. And that happens very quickly and fast. Tango is very, very difficult. It's probably the hardest thing that I've ever tried to do. I've been only doing it for a year. I'm still a beginner. I'm not dancing as much as I am learning the building blocks of the art. But I decided, after she finished with her graduate program and started to teach again, maybe the first time around I needed a little more space. I needed her to do her thing and me to do my thing. For whatever reason, I really wanted to support her and go to her first classes that she was teaching again after her hiatus. I went to the first class and the second class, and I just really, really liked it. And I found that I really liked it, and I finally got what she and my other tango friends were on about. So I started to train tango. So I've been doing it for about a year. How did my Tai Chi help me? My Tai Chi training helped me with the tango. Well, again, form first. learn, good mechanics and form before feeling. In the long run, you can go higher in any art if you build a strong foundation. If you just go on talent and you go on feeling, you can go up quick. Like building a building really quick without proper attention to the foundation. It'll go up quicker, but it won't stay up as long. So form first, that really helped me. Patience, that really helped. I learned a lot of patience from doing Tai Chi because I am not naturally coordinated. I'm not naturally a jock or a physical person at all. I don't have a lot of athletic talent. I had to replace the lack of talent in my body and nervous system, which is inherently more shaky and not very solid and not very coordinated. I had to fill the gaps in with software. I didn't have the hardware. I had to fill it in with software that I installed myself through practice. I was not coordinated or talented, so I had to instill that myself. And through doing that, many years of practice, I learned patience. And patience is very... patience and persistence are very important in learning Tai Chi if you're not coordinated, and certainly in learning Tango even if you are coordinated. So, and the dimmer switches that I learned in Tai Chi, putting my muscles on dimmer, so I have degrees of firmness that I can use, I can put my muscles in. It isn't just on or off. I have a lot of variation in there, and that really helped me with the embrace of Tango, and also with the amount of pressure that you're giving your partner, both as a follow and as a lead. I'm learning how to do both because it's really great and teaches you all sides of the art. The walk and the embrace both are really helped by having muscles on dimmer switches that aren't all contracted or all released. My familiarity with where my weight is really helped me in Tango, because in Tai Chi you always have to know where your weight is, where you're substantial and where you're not. Might seem obvious, but once you start doing a physical activity, if you're not, naturally coordinated or you haven't done one before, it's not so easy to know exactly where your weight is. And by know where your weight is, I don't mean like, oh, let's see, it's on the right one. I mean know instantly, all the time, where your weight is. That really helped. Familiarity with footwork, knowing where my feet were. Familiarity with distance management, being able to manage the distance between me and someone else, something that comes up a lot in Tai Chi. Those things all help me learn Tango and help me stick with it. And it hasn't helped me get great at it, not yet. I mean, I don't expect to be great. I hope to be good. But right now I'm a beginner and I haven't quit in a year, so that's saying something. So how did learning Tango and how does learning Tango affect my Tai Chi? More awareness of my feet, more awareness of my footwork. Even though my footwork helped me with my Tango, the Tango footwork has helped me back with my Tai Chi be even more aware of where my feet are. It increased my awareness of the dimmer switches and smoothness in the motion. There's something about having a partner that you're being smooth and even with and listening to helped me even more in my own movements in the Tai Chi. Tango involves a lot of waist rotation and particularly counter rotation, where you're stepping the opposite direction as your waist is turning. So that has really helped me with just waist rotation in general and awareness of the center of gravity and the turning of the waist. And again, the emphasis on the long spine and low shoulders in Tango has made my emphasis of long spine and low shoulders even better in my Tai Chi. I would say that overall, between my Tai Chi training being augmented by building strength and overall fitness and learning non-classical Gung-Fu and learning Tango, all those things have in turn improved my posture, made my posture better in my Tai Chi and out of my Tai Chi. I'm just sitting up straighter, I'm standing up straighter, I'm just longer in general and less contracted and less slumpy. So these are some examples of how each one of these things affected my Tai Chi and how my Tai Chi affected that. I could also look at the cross-pollination between Tango and strength building, or between non-classical Gung-Fu and Tango, or between strength training and non-classical Gung-Fu. But I just wanted to do this basic thing. All these things have affected all the other things. So I think when you take up a holistic, kind of whole-bodied training like Tai Chi, or like yoga, or anything that's systemic, that isn't just kind of result-oriented. That's a full-body training that affects your alignment and the quality of your muscles, the quality of your joints, quality of your tension, quality of your breathing, all those things that it's bound to make, if you go deeply into one thing, and of course Tai Chi is the thing I've gone the most deeply into, it affects at least my ability to learn all these other things. I sort of consider everything I do to be Tai Chi in the sense that I'm looking to be smooth and efficient and injury-free and balance the hard and soft aspects of myself. This is necessary to do anything, and to do anything well. So, you know, it's sort of like Tai Chi practice as opposed to Tai Chi Chuan, the specific Chinese martial art. I prefer to think of it as an over-umbrella Tai Chi practice. All these things are underneath it. And so they all cross-pollinate each other. So this is just a little talk about cross-pollination, and I hope that you yourself watching this video will begin to see the ways that different things can interact and cross-pollinate in your own life if you haven't already, or that you might be inspired to either take up a physical practice or a creative practice. I didn't even talk about how Tai Chi or any of these things affect my songwriting and my performing, because they do. Everything from the posture to the breathing to having an open, relaxed mind in the creation of music and the performing of music. But I hope that you have a creative practice and a physical practice. The happiest, healthiest people I know, people who are productive and enjoying life into their 80s, all have a physical practice or a creative practice or both. I encourage you to do that. It's a fantastic adjunct to everything else that a person does in life. But I hope that if you do that, or maybe take up another one, you'll see how these things affect each other. They live in your body, and so if you have a Tai Chi practice and you want to take up dancing, or if you have a dance practice and you want to take up a martial art, or if you have a strength and fitness practice and you want to take up a sport that requires more coordination and flow, like say if you lift weights but you want to take up tennis, that these things will speak to each other and help you. It's a different currency. You have to kind of translate it a little bit, but they can help, and they will help. They'll make it easier for you. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you like this kind of work, I do music videos, Tai Chi videos, nature videos, little things like that. It's not a big time station. It never will be. And if you'd like to help me out with a donation, down below I have a PayPal me link down there. If you want to help me out with that, that would be lovely. If not, no problem. The main reason I make these is to be helpful. So if this is helpful to you, I'm happy. So you can let me know in the comments. That's as good as a tip. So yeah, and you can also go to GeneBurnett.com if you're curious about more of what I do. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it.